Hey guys, it's Amy from Bright Design Studios. Thanks so much for stopping by today. So I have a process video. I made an art journal page and I just wanted to share my process with everyone. So I didn't really plan this. I was like, I don't know what I want to do today. I want to do something in my journal. So I just grabbed my little scrap paper folder and just started grabbing out pieces of paper. There is no rhyme or reason at all to what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing a piece of paper that I think is cute and throwing it on the page. This is a good way to just use up your scraps, which I have way too many of. So yeah, if you're like me and you want to save every little tiny strip of paper, this would be a really good project for you to do. So as you can see, there's no real pattern. I'm just grabbing and gluing. I used my Tombow glue. It's a permanent glue, so it sticks on and keeps my papers down really well. If I don't use that, then I would typically use like Ranger Multimedia Matte. And here I'm just throwing on some gesso to lighten up all those colors because I used a lot of very colorful sheets. I just do one light coat of gesso, and then I picked out a fun stencil, and I go through a few of them like, do I want this one? Do I want that one? I was really leaning towards the hexagons, but I went with the circle, like the polka dots instead. My gesso bottle was not cooperating this day. Nothing wanted to come out. As you see, I'm like slamming it in my hand trying to get this stuff out. But so all I'm doing here is just mixing a little bit of acrylic paint and pink with just a small amount of the gesso and running it through my stencil with, what is this thing called? A spatula? Spatula? Scalpel? Anyways, that thing. My terminology is not here today. I need a second cup of coffee, I think. So anyways, I'm just running that through the stencil in some spots that I thought could use some pink color. And anytime I use gesso or any kind of like multimedia activity, I guess you could say, that I'm doing, I always try to clean my utensils up right away. Paintbrushes, stencils, anything like that. That way it doesn't like dry and cake on. And here I'm using some shimmers. What color is that? Deep sea, I think, maybe? Yeah, deep blue sea. So deep blue sea is what I just sprinkled all over the page, and that just gives it like a really fun shimmery effect. And I took my heat gun and I sped that up a lot because you don't want to sit there and just watch me do my heat gun, I'm sure. But I did that just so that everything would dry a lot faster. Okay, so here all I'm doing is I'm using a mechanical pencil to just like sketch out this owl design. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do on this page at first. I was like, maybe I'm just gonna do like I don't know, like a calligraphy quote, or just leave it plain because there's nothing wrong with that. But then I saw my owl cup, which you can see there in the top left. It's one of my favorite coffee cups ever that my mom gave me for Christmas one year. So I kind of pulled inspiration from that, and then on this sticker sheet that you can see on the left, that's from Bella Boulevard. I do have a video of this pack coming up really soon, hopefully within the next week, for you guys to see close-ups of it. But there's an owl. You can see the colors on the bottom left of the screen. That colorful creature down there, that's the owl that I'm pulling inspiration from for this little guy. So for the coloring, basically all I'm doing is taking gelatos and smearing them around the page, and I use my fingers a lot whenever I use gelatos. they're just a really fun medium to play with. They're kind of like a lipstick texture, like very buttery soft. Like they blend well with everything. I mean, you see here, I'm not using any water. I'm literally rubbing color and then just like smearing it around with my finger, and it's blending great. So I really like using gelatos on my mixed media projects. I've used them obviously in art journals, as you can see here. But I've also used them on canvases. I like to use lace on my canvases, so I'll put like a scrap piece of lace down and then color through the lace with the gelatos, and that gives like a really fun effect. You can also, um, like run it through with a paintbrush and water, like it's watercolor and paint designs for backgrounds, and just all sorts of fun things. So after that, after he's all colored up and ready to go, I use some of my Jane Davenport paint over pens. This one is the mermaid color, and I draw his little beak on there and go over his feet. Then I'm trying to use my other paint pens, and I'm having no luck because these babies have sat in the closet for far too long. We've been here in Alaska since April of last year, and I used these last like May of last year. Yeah, so for a while they've been in the closet, but anyways, they didn't work with me. I'm gonna have to figure out what's up with them. They're not dried out. There's plenty of ink, so they didn't want to work this day. So instead, I go back to my Jane Davenport mermaid markers. Not mermaid markers. I'm sorry, paint over pens, because those have never failed me. Speaking of the mermaid markers, I do have a shipment of those coming in. They should be here next Wednesday, and I'm really excited to play with those, and I hope to have lots of process videos for you guys. I used a little bit more of the gelato on his eyes to kind of darken it up, and then now all I'm doing is going over it with a white gel pen to give a little bit of detailing. You can't really see it here in the pictures, or I'm sorry, here on the video, but you will be able to see it on the pictures at the end. The only other thing that I add to this page, aside from these little details, is like a quote towards the top of the paper, and then on the far left hand side I add the date. There's the little owl I was talking about. Oh, and then of course I add some lashes because my owl has to have lashes, right? But yeah, so that is it for this art journal page. If you guys have a recommendation for a black pen that works on mixed media type journal pages like this, please let me know in the comments because my G2 Pilot pen was not my friend on this. And I will show you guys the paint pens that do work. Jane Davenport, thank you for making amazing products. Alright guys, have a great afternoon, and I will be back with another process video soon. Thanks for stopping by.